Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and another Potterhead Blender tutorial. Today we're gonna create these Harry Potter circle glasses in Blender. Previously I made a video about how to create a magic potion in Blender. You can check it out if you're interested about the magic world. Also you can pick my entire free course of creating the treasure chest in Blender and follow along. The links are in the description and also you can find them somewhere on the top right part of the video. So without any further delay, let's get started and jump to the Blender. First of all, let's delete the default cube and the light here. Select both of them and press X, then delete. And press Shift A, and on the Add menu underneath the Mesh tab, you can just add a torus. And here we have a little window here. If you open up this part, we've got some data here to edit them. So first of all, we're gonna rotate them on the X-axis. Click on that and type in 90. And press 1 to go to front orthographic view to see what's happening properly. And we don't need the 48 segments, it's too much for us. Let's decrease it to something about 32. And also 12 here is a little bit too much. We can just decrease it to about 8. And I think 8 will work for us properly without any problems. Yeah, it is good. And also we can just change the major radius and the minor radius. Let's change them a little bit. We can make it a little bit thinner, about there. It's gonna be holder of the glass. Or we can just make it just a bit more thinner. Up to that point, I think that's going to be okay. And press 1 again to go to front orthographic view. And for the rotation of Y, we have to rotate it a little bit because later we want to extrude it from these parts. Because of that, a little bit, just a slight rotation here is needed so that this part should be flat like that. Okay, that's good and I'm satisfied with that. When you got satisfied with the shape, press tab to go to edit mode, and on the edit mode, make sure that you're in the edit mode. Press G, then X, and bring it to the right part of the world. Then tab again to go to object mode, and come to the modifiers tab and add a mirror modifier. And it's working a little bit awkward. If you press 1 to see it from the front of the graphic view, you'll see it properly. It's not working very well. It's because that we rotate it when we want to add a torus. If you press N on the item tab, you can just see the rotation amounts are changed. So we have to apply the rotation in the case of working it correctly. Press N again to close up this panel. Hold Ctrl A. And on the apply menu, you can just select the rotation, and as soon as you apply it, it will be fixed. So these are the holders of the eyes of the glasses. I think they are a little bit too far from each other. Press tab again to go to edit mode and press G, then X. Bring them a little bit near to each other, just like that. And the reason that I moved them on the edit mode, it's because of their origin. Its origin is in the middle of the world so that we can just mirror it easily. But if we move the shape on the object mode, its origin will be moving as well as the object itself. And in that case, the mirror modifiers wouldn't work very well. But if you see here, when I go to edit mode and start to move the object, all of the object, the origin of the object is still remaining there. Because of that, I move them on the edit mode. And make sure you to move it on the edit mode to make your process much easier. So come to the edit mode again and zoom in a little bit and press 3 to go to face selection mode and select these two faces. If you press 1, you see that which faces I'm selecting. Not this face, not this face. And actually we have to select this one there. The second faces from the middle. Not this one, but the second one here. And start to inset them, press I, then inset them a little bit. and press 1 to go to vertex selection mode. Select these 3 vertices and press GG twice to edge slide them a little bit, and also do the same thing for these ones. GG twice, and maybe we can do this again, move them a little bit more, and select all of them and right click. Then on the loop tools we can just select circle to make it a little bit circle, and we should scale it down just a bit and press 1 to go to front of the graphic view. We have to fix this issue here. All we need to do is just grab it a little bit to fit the shape of the model, overall model. And in the case that you don't have the loop tools here, it's because you didn't enable the add-on. You just come to edit on the preferences, and on the add-ons you can just search for loop tools and then enable the mesh loop tools, and after that it will work for you as well as mine. So press 1 again to go to front of the graphic view and start to extrude this up to that point, and the mirrors clipping isn't on. When it's off, when they overlapping each other, they just pass each other, they don't connect, they don't join together. But if you turn it on, when you bring them near together, they will join together, they will merge together, and I want the exact thing here. But before doing that, you see that we have a face here. We have to delete this face. Press X then faces to delete them all, and then press 1 again to go to front of the graphic view, and when we bring them near each other they will be merged in together. So we have to bring it a little bit down up to there and add another loop cut by Ctrl R, then rotate it just a little bit and bring it a little bit upwards to maintain this curvy shape here. So I think this part is okay. So let's come to the back side of the glass and press 1. If you press 1 on the numpad, you'll see the front of the graphic view of your world, and if you hold Ctrl then press 1, you will see the back orthographic view. So now we're looking at the shape from the back side of it, but in the orthographic mode. So select these 4 faces, but we're on the vertex selection mode. We have to change it to face selection mode and select these 4 faces and zoom in a little bit and start to inset them. Press I and inset them up to that point and press 1 again and do the same thing as we did for the previous one. GG twice to edge slide, and for these ones also GG twice, but I forgot to add this one. GG twice up to that point and press 3 again to go to face selection mode and select these 4 faces. Right click on the loop tools, we have to select circle, and maybe it will be good to rotate it a little bit and start to scale it down up to about there, and press 3 to go to side orthographic view, and we can just bring it a little bit inside of the shape, just about there, and start to extrude them up to maybe that point. I think that will be enough, or maybe we can just bring it a little bit too far. Press 3 again to go to side orthographic view and press E to extrude it and bring it to about that point, and press S then Z to scale it on the Z axis, and we have to scale it a little bit, bring it lower and rotate it, and do the same thing again for the next time. Scale it on the Z axis, bring it lower and rotate it up to that point. I think that will be good, or we can just make it a little bit longer than before. I think that's good and better than before. And we have to add another loop cut here because later we because later we'll need that loop cut here. So I think that's good, and select these 4 faces. But again, I'm on the edge selection mode. Select the face selection mode and enable the proportional editing. The hotkey for this is O. You can just turn it on and off with O on the keyboard. Let's turn it on and press S, and you can control the size of it by scrolling down and up your middle mouse button. Let's make it just a little bit bigger and scale it on the x-axis about there, or even a little bit more. I think that will be better. And also select these loop cuts here. Press 1 to go to vertex selection mode, or just go to the edge selection, mode, and hold Alt button and select this middle loop cut here, and do the same thing again for this part. Press S and X, but this time we're gonna scale it down, just like that. And I think we have to bring all of these parts a little bit to the back side. For that, let's enable the X-ray selection mode from here, or you can just press Alt C and select all of these faces, and press G then Y and bring them a little bit backward, just like that. So let's turn it off, go to the solid view and press Tab to go to object mode to see what's happening here. And I think we have to, maybe it will be good for here to change it a little bit. Select these two faces. Again, I selected the edges. Select faces and press 3 to go to side of graphic view and bring it a little bit to the lower part and rotate it, scale it a little bit up to that point. I think that's going to make sense now. So the glasses are left. Tap in to go to edit mode again, and on the edge selection mode, just hold Alt and select this inner edge here and press Shift D to duplicate it, and right click cancel the movement. And let's disable the proportional editing because we don't need it anymore, and scale it up a little bit to go to inside of the shape, and press F to fill it. And now we can just press P then selection to separate this as a new object, and this is a new object. So because I want to add a subdivision modifier for this part and I don't want to apply it on these glasses, because of that I separated these two objects here. But you can just not separate them and follow along with just one object. It's on your own, and you can just decide in which way you want to continue your work. So select this one and hold Ctrl 2. Ctrl 2 is a hotkey for subdivision modifier for 2 levels. If you press Ctrl 1, let's delete this. If you press Ctrl 1, it will add a subdivision modifier with 1 levels, but for this one I'm gonna go on with 2 levels. And you see that the shape is a little bit awkward and not good. It's because that we have to add the support loops here and there. Press Tab to go to edit mode, and with Ctrl R, let's add the support loops here and there on the points that it's needed. We have to add it here up to there, and also the last part of here to add something like this. And for this one I'm gonna go a little bit further more. Let's select the edge selection mode and select these 4 faces here, and with Ctrl plus expand your selection up to that point here, and Shift D to duplicate them, then press P then selection to separate it as a new object. Press Tab again here and press A to select everything. Let's scale them all inside just like that, and hold Ctrl E then extrude faces along normals. In that case we're going to extrude them along their normals, and for this one we have to add another supporting loop cut here on this edge. Press Ctrl R and add another edge here on this part, and another one to the inside part of the model, just like that. I think that's good. And also we have to select this part and turn on the proportional editing, press 3, and let's go to the X-ray selection mode, select these faces, all of them, and bring them down a little bit to go out of the shape here. You see that we have a little bit problem here. We can just fix it by scaling it up a little bit, and let's see what's happening here. And also we can move it a little bit higher, just like that, and press Alt Z and press tab to go to object mode to check it, that if there is a problem or not. No, we don't have any problems. Select this, right click, shaded smooth, and also this one, right click, shaded smooth, and there we go. The modeling of the glass is done. And now let's go to the next parts. I mean the lighting part and the texturing part. But before that, let's parent them together. In that case, their movement, their transforming will be much easier with that. Select this part and the light part, at the end the holder part, and press Ctrl P, then object, and all of them are parented to this object. And when we just select this and move it, the other ones will be moved with this one as well. So let's add a plane for the floor, scale it up like that, and select this glasses here, bring it higher and up to the point that it's resting on the floor. Press 3 to go to side orthographic view, and we have to rotate it a little bit like that and bring it lower up to that point, and it is ready for giving it some light and also textures. But before that, let's model the Harry Potter scar here. Press Shift A, and on the mesh tab you can just bring a plane. Press 7 to go to top orthographic view and bring it here. Press tab to go to edit mode and 1 to go to vertex selection mode. And let's create the shape of a scar, but let's turn it off for now. And I'm gonna make the shape of the scar of Harry Potter just like that. Select these two ones, E to extrude this, and E again to extrude it one more time, and select this vertex here to find the good shape and position for this. And in that case you have to work on you have to change them one by one to find the correct position for each of them and make the shape of a scar that you like. I think something like this will be work for us. Yeah, it's good. You can just work on it a little bit more and create your own scar here. Press A to select everything, and then E extrude them a little bit to give it a thickness, and we have to rotate them on the x-axis or y-axis, or it's x-axis, yeah. So bring it a little bit higher and press 1 to go to front orthographic view, and I think it's a little bit too big. We can just scale it down and bring it here up to the point that it's a little bit higher from the floor, not resting on the floor. And let's rotate it a little bit on the z-axis, about there, and that's good. Maybe later we can just change its rotation or location a little bit. So let's split the view into two parts. This will be for our camera, and this will be for the working area. So press T here to hide this menu and come to the render preview on this tab, and come here and find the good view for your camera, that from which view you want to look at your model. Maybe I will go with something like this. When you're satisfied with the view, just hold Ctrl, Alt and 0 to fit the camera to the scene. that you're looking at. So press N here, and on the view part, you can just lock the camera to the view. In that case, when you move around and navigate in the world, the camera also will be moving with the world, and there will be much easier for you to move your camera and reposition it. So select the camera and press G, then Z twice. Move it a little bit backwards and come to the object data properties and change the focal length from 50 to 80. And press G, then ZZ again. ZZ again, yeah, and find the correct position for your camera. For this one, I think we can scale it just a little bit. I think it's too small, yeah. And we can rotate it on the Z, just like that. So another thing about camera is the depth of field. Let's enable it, and we have to add an object here. I'm gonna add an object. Press Shift A and bring an empty plane axis and bring it here. And also press N, then disable the lock camera to the view to not move it coincidentally and accidentally. Press 7 to go to top of the graphic view and bring it up to that point, the edge of the glasses here, and bring it higher a little bit. And now we can just select the camera. Where's the camera? And on the focus on the object, you can just select the eyedropper tool and select our empty object here, and in that case it will be zooming on the empty object to this part of the camera. So let's go to the render preview, and you see that there's nothing here. So press Shift A and bring an area light and bring it higher, and here we can just press 0 to see the camera, and also press the home button key to fit the camera to the view here, and press G and bring it a little bit to the right part, and press 7 to go to top of the graphic view. We can just rotate this a little bit, but I'm not on this view. Press 1 to go to front of the graphic view, rotate it a little bit about 45 degrees, and press 7. And now we can just rotate it about 45 degrees here as well, and bring it a little bit to this part, and let's increase the power to about 50, or let's try 100, or even a little bit more, maybe about 120 or 150. I think 150 is quite good, and it is our key light or main light. But here we also need another light, which is the support light. Press Shift D to duplicate it and rotate this and position it from the left side of the model. And you see that it's too light, but the support light shouldn't be that strong. So we have to decrease it about 20 or maybe 30. I think 30 is better. And the last light that we need here is the rim light. It's usually at the behind of the model, and it represents the highlights on the edges of the model. So we have to rotate it a little bit to face the model, and press 3 to see it from the side of the graphic view. Rotate it up to that point, bring it here, and now we can scale it on the X axis. Press 7 and bring it here, and now we can just increase the power to about 120 or 150 and bring it a little bit higher up to that point. And you see that the highlights here is going to appear. Maybe we can try 300, but I think it's too much. When we give them textures, it will appear much more in that case. So let's try 150 for now. It's good, I think. So the lighting part is done. Let's go to the texturing part. Select the object, the holder one here, and on the material properties, click on new and give it a material. On the base color, we can change the color about a black color, just like that. And for the roughness, we should increase its roughness a little bit up to there, about 0.7. and there's nothing to do with that part anymore. Select the floor and click on new, change the color a little bit to a yellowish color like that. And for the roughness, decrease it. I want it to be a little bit shiny, not so much, but a little bit, just a bit. That's going to be okay. And select this one and click on new, and on the surface you see this circle here. Click on it and change it to emission, and we have to increase it, and we can increase the strength about 20, and the color should be about a yellowish color, but it doesn't have any glows because I forgot to enable these ones: the ambient occlusion, bloom, and screen space reflections. And beneath the screen space reflections, enable the reflection as well. So it's a little bit too much, we can just decrease it, or we can come to the world properties and change the color and make it a little bit darker, just like that. And select this one. This will be our glasses, and on the material properties, click on new and come all the way down up to the transmission and turn it up to 1. And about the roughness, we have to decrease its roughness about there to represent the glass material here. And also about the blend mode, we have to change it to alpha clip. And about the alpha, we can just decrease it a little bit and change the other one to alpha Haitian. I don't know its pronunciation. If you know, just help me about that. And for the alpha, we can just decrease it, but it has to be alpha blend. I chose the wrong one. Yeah, alpha blend works very well for this. And for the alpha, we can increase this just a little bit, not so much up to that point. And for this one's the last part of the holder, we can just add another material, and it can be any color that you like. It can be red, or it can be just gray color about there, or it can be a dark color. All of it depends on yourself. Maybe I will go with a brown color and a dark brown color, just like that. Make it a little bit darker. I think it will be good. And for this one, for the holder itself, we can increase the roughness even a little bit more, like that. And about the glasses, I think they're okay. And for this one, we can bring it to the back side of the model, or we can bring it to the front of the model. Let's find the correct position for this. And I think 20 is a little bit too much for this here, because we have enough light here. Maybe we can change it to 15 or about 10. 10 I think is better than 20. 20 was a little bit too strong for this. And there we go. This is the Harry Potter circle glasses, which we've made in Blender together. I hope you learned something and it was helpful for you. It made me so happy when I could be able to help you with these tutorials. It means a lot for me. And if you enjoyed the video, just click on that like button below. And if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet, just click on that button to be one of us and subscribe in the channel. So up to the next video, see you then.